Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Cartoon Doodle Draw Along with me, Mr Wyatt. Today we're going to be drawing cartoon feet / shoes and legs, maybe getting into some cartoon bodies as well. In the last few previous videos we've covered cartoon faces and styles with emotions and different sort of expression, and then we've also covered cartoon hands as well. So we're building up a cartoon character over time. We're still going to be diving into some different styles of characters and animals maybe, but we're slowly building up this cartoon character for now. We're going to begin with some really basic shape-focused legs that can just stand alone for our cartoon character. We're then going to take a step further and work towards some different styles of inspiration for legs, maybe even movement. So, grab your pen or pencil and some scrap paper and some paper and let's get going. As always, we're going to start with some letters and shapes. So we're going to actually begin today by drawing some squares and rectangles. You can save space on your scrap piece of paper by drawing them inside one another. And it's always good practice to try some fast and some slow. You might end up having a bit of a preference as to which style you like best. Practice some different shaped boxes, or cubes or cuboids. You could even, if you wanted to, have a go at drawing a 3D square. Just like so. But we're just warming up those muscles. Can draw some curved lines as well. Just to get going. As always, practice those circles. And some letters we're going to be starting with today is a curved M or M. You might split it apart depending on what position you're going for. You might actually have one of the curves partially hidden and a little bit smaller behind the other as well. Practice that both ways. Could also practice our triangles as well. Again, it's always just really good fun to have a little bit of a scribble and a mess around, and you might surprise yourself with some of the fun shapes and ideas that you can get going. So let's grab our piece of paper. And as I said, we're going to begin with a really simple cartoon style shaped body and legs. And this is one of the first styles of cartoons that I used to draw a lot of when I was a young kid. So imagining that our head is just up off the paper here, we're going to come down with a rectangle without a top. So that's where the head is going to be. Now we're going to almost cut this in half with a line. Again, it doesn't have to be straight, it could be wobbly. This is the bottom of your character's t-shirt or jumper, so it might even be sort of a bit messy or untucked. We might add some triangles in a moment to show maybe a shirt as well, but we're going to start super simple. Finding the middle of that space, we're then going to break it up again. So we're going to draw a line down like so. And that's our two legs. And then we're going to use that shape. So a line in one and a line in the other. And this is going to be the tops of our shoes. A line in one and a line in the other. And there you have it. There's a really, really simple cartoon body with 2 legs, like a human or humanoid character. If you wanted to, just for visual, I can quickly add in, and you might be able to as well at home, if you've watched our previous episodes, add in some super quick cartoon arms as well. And then you can really start to see the cartoon character is beginning to take shape. So let's move on now. And we're going to look at a few different styles of cartoon feet or shoe, and also maybe even some movement. So I've mentioned in some previous videos inspiration from Mr Men, and I used to always love the fancy style of cartoon shoe that they would wear. So we're going to have a go at that now. We're going to, leaving space for some other designs, come down with 2 parallel straight lines. At the bottom here, we're going to do a curved line, almost like a bowl. So that's going to be the bottom of the leg. On this side here, that's going to be the heel, and we're going to have the shoe going off this way. So we're going to do a curved line like so. And then I'm going to draw a curved line along the bottom here. Going almost double the width of the leg itself. Doesn't have to be perfect. Again, cartoons are supposed to be quick and sketchy, but just as a hint and tip. From the end of this line, I'm then going to go up and over and rejoin the bottom of the leg. I'm then going to add in some of those beautiful, but still quite easy, swirls that were sort of iconic for the Mr. Men shoes. So I'm going to draw the front toe cap and the back toe cap, or heel cap. I'm then going to draw the dots for laces. Now I'm going to draw 2 large circles, and then from those circles I'm going to draw lines up to the top of the shoe. Now for the bow, I can show you we're going to use that shape again, but we're going to have it almost like an upside down teardrop, so it's going to be connected. So on my scrap piece of paper here, imagining that this is the shoe and the leg, I'm going to draw 1 teardrop and another teardrop, but upside down, almost like bunny rabbit ears. And if you want to, you can draw in some loose bits of the laces as well. So we're going to add in that detail, but I'm going to make it nice and small and neat. So there's 1, 2, just like that. Then we're going to do some more swirls in these different sort of leather parts of the shoe. If you have any different styles of fancy shoe, or any shoe around your house, you could maybe have a go at drawing them. There's 1 and 2. So all I'm doing is coming up and curving it round in a little bit of a spiral, going one way then the other. For the toe, I'm going to come all the way around in a spiral like that. And then we can add some detail if you want to. Now I'm using quite a thick pen, so I'm being really delicate to add these tiny little lines. And I'm barely touching the paper, But if you're working in pencil, you might find it a lot easier. You might need to sharpen your pencil to get nice thin details. But all I'm doing is just being really, really gentle and only just touching the pen to the paper. We then need a sole on the bottom of our shoe. So from the back of the heel here, I'm going to draw a straight line down. And the same on the toe, the front. So again, keeping those about the same height. I'm going to come around with a heel and link it up. And then for the rest of the sole, I'm going to come down quickly at an angle and then follow it round. So there we have our Mr. Men inspired style shoe. We can now draw a more sort of quick, maybe movement inspired style bottom half of a character that's going to be running. And this is going to be more sort of noodly Adventure Time style inspired. So again, we're going to start with that open topped rectangle showing the bottom of the t-shirt or jumper. This time we could use upside down triangles to show a shirt. So I'm making almost a W shape going down, up, down, up. And then I could draw a line for the middle of the shirt and do some dots for buttons. And then I'm going to do those thin noodly limbs and I'm going to make them big curves as if our character is running. So I'm going to come all the way around, almost like a letter C. I'm going to come back around and bring that line across. And then I'm going to do the same again, but I'm going to come down towards where I'm going to imagine the ground is going to be. There we go. Now again, in the same way that I curved the end of this leg, you have to imagine whether it's coming towards you or away from you. If it's coming towards you, then it's going to be a curve inwards. If it's going away from you, then it's a curve towards. Okay. So we're looking down at these feet. So I'm curving it away from the leg. Now, I'm going to draw some quick trainer style feet on these legs. And again, get experimenting and try out some different styles, but this is one that I quite commonly use. So I'm going to draw an upside down triangle, and don't worry about going over the lines. That's going to be the tongue, and you could even colour it in if you wanted to. From there, I'm going to draw a small triangle outwards as well, almost in the direction of where I can imagine the foot is going to be. And then from the top corner of this triangle just here, I'm going to curve it round and connect it up to the heel. And I'm then going to add a toe and some lines for the laces. And again, you could add laces in the same way that we did here for the style of shoe. I think maybe this person's rushing, so the laces could be undone. I'm imagining that one's in front and one's behind, so I'm having it appear out from behind that leg. I'm then going to spin the paper around and do the exact same thing. So upside down triangle for the tongue, sideways triangle for sort of underneath the laces, curve it round and up into the heel, toe, few faint lines. Now this time I have to think about where the foot's moving if I'm going to draw those loose laces again. Depending on where that motion's coming from, is the foot still lifting up as it's mid-run, or is it then coming back down to take over and land on the floor? So we're going to go this way. As if it's still sort of moving up. So those laces are helping, like movement lines, show a bit of action. And then if I wanted to, I could colour in these shoes, make them really stand out. There we go. Another hint or tip for when you're drawing cartoon characters, especially when you're drawing their legs, is to make it look as though they're moving across a space, and rather than just floating in the middle of the air, is actually giving reference and showing that they're on the ground. And all this takes is 2 quick lines. If you turn your piece of paper sideways, this foot here is the one that's on the ground. So I'm going to not have him or her stood on top of the world, but I'm going to have it stood with it set behind their leg. So I'm going to draw one line sketchily away so it fades out, and again we're then filling the rest of that space with our imagination, and I'm going to do the same on this side. So I've imagined that line continues, and now we have a reference point for our character actually running on the ground. And there we have it. A detailed Mr. Men style inspired fancy shoe. Have a go with some of your own that you can find in your house. And a running style character pair of legs. Again, I've had some fantastic work sent in from different people, and I've loved seeing all of your artwork. It is amazing. If you would like to share some of your artwork with me and the other people viewing the channel, then feel free to send it along with your first name to me at cartoonwithmrwyatt@gmail.com. And if you enjoy these videos, please give it a like and subscribe down below. Otherwise, I hope you've enjoyed the video and enjoyed adding to your cartoon skills. I will see you next time.